He has risen.
He has risen indeed. Hey, I'm Walking Tall 202, and I want to express my thoughts on where the Batman franchise can go after The Dark Knight Rises. But no, I'm not doing this alone. I will be expressing my thoughts with SCIFIWEBCAM, a YouTuber that's truly at your service, with a creative mind that Hollywood should strive for, and he will be expressing his thoughts on the Batman franchise first.
Hey guys, what's up? SCIFIWEBCAM here, and I gotta say, I'm really excited to be doing this with Walking Tall 202 and WW2Beast. They're both great YouTubers and really friendly people. Walking Tall 202 has been a fan of my superhero since the beginning, and I've been a fan of his reviews and fancast videos as well. And I also enjoyed WW2Beast's voice when he and Walking Tall 202 joined to do the Young Reviewers show. Anyway, like my two cohorts, I'm also here to share my ideas as to a Christopher Nolan Robin series, because, well, pretty much anyone who walked out of The Dark Knight Rises was just left wanting more. So Walking Tall 202 and WW2Beast have their own ideas about this story, and I have mine. I'm here to show you my version. Okay, so my version of the Robin story ends exactly where The Dark Knight Rises ended, where Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, John Blake, decided to take up the mantle of the Batman himself, Bruce Wayne, and protect the city as a new Cape Crusader using his real first name, Robin. I picture Robin's first villain to be Abattoir, who was a serial killer who escaped Arkham Asylum when Bane took over the city in The Dark Knight Rises. I kind of want his deal to be, like he's the last game in town, and everybody thinks he's going to be easy at first, but then he starts rounding up all these criminals from around the world, and he's inspired by Bane and the Joker to not only, watch the world burn, but also to enforce tyranny in Gotham City. Now, according to the comics, Abattoir is accidentally killed by Batman when he's pushed into a vat of molten metal. I would imagine this for Robin causing, an emotional dilemma because, well, he broke Batman's rule of not killing and he feels like he let Bruce Wayne down. Which would, in effect, give him, instead of visions of Abattoir's ghosts like in the comics, something more real, like nightmares. Now, keep in mind, all of Christopher Nolan's Batman villains are completely plausible, just real-life, possible scenarios. Now, how would this emotional dilemma that Robin is having affect Gotham City? According to the comics, Abattoir, at the time he died, had a relative that he'd been holding at a torture chamber at an unknown location. Instead of indirectly condemning him to death like he did in the comics, I kind of want him to, take up the mantle of Abattoir and continue his legacy. And I want his motivation to be not only to, enforce tyranny like, his relative wanted to, but also to get revenge on Robin, who in fact bounces back after a little pep talk by the Batman himself, Bruce Wayne. I thought I'd kind of throw him in there, like a little cameo to not be so distant from the first three Batman films. So anyway, we got this final battle at the Batcave, which is home to Blake and Alfred. Assuming Alfred stays behind to help Blake. And the last of Abattoir's goons, the new Abattoir's goons, are, rigging explosives outside the Batcave to rig it to collapse. And while Robin and Abattoir are fighting, you got all these falling rocks because of all the explosives, so they have to, fight and dodge. So at the end of the battle, Abattoir has Robin pinned down on the floor, and he's trying to mess with his head by saying how he broke Batman's rule by killing the first Abattoir. Robin says that it was an accident, and so is this. They're not moving around, so this big rock hits Abattoir on the head and knocks him dead. Blake and Alfred narrowly escape the Batcave with their lives, and the police arrive and arrest all the goons outside. And at the end of the story, Police Commissioner Gordon dedicates Robin a Medal of Honor. And, people are getting mixed feelings, some people in Gotham are saying that, he's a good guy who's trying to continue the Batman legacy because we need it. And some are saying, he's mocking Batman by making a parody of it. And that's how my Robin story ends. And now on to Walking Tall 202 and WW2Beast for their ideas.
Hey, I'm World War II Beast. I'm just going to jump right in. At the end of The Dark Knight Rises, we see Robin Blake discovering the Batcave. And the obvious reaction is he's going to pick up the role of Batman and become the next Cape Crusader. I, however, disagree. I think that Blake knows that becoming the Batman is impossible or near impossible for two reasons. One being that Batman has done so much that Blake couldn't possibly live up to the precedent set before him. The second being that Batman went away before. He's dead and gone to Gotham. He came back the first time, but only because Gotham needed him. Coming back a second time? A little suspicious. In my opinion, Robin Blake being, Robin, is probably going to pick up his namesake Vigilante. However, I think Blake is a little too old and a little too skilled to don the traditional Robin attire, which is what makes me believe that he's actually going to become Nightwing. The Nightwing suit has always had a sizable amount of gadgets and a Batman-esque style. Given that the Batcave has an extra suit and a bunch of fancy tools, all Blake has to do is take a bit of paint and some creative license, and he's got the Nightwing suit. And with the manor being turned into the orphanage, that doesn't really give Blake a place to live, unless he lives in the Batcave, which would make getting mail a real problem. Also, following the thrilling ending to the trilogy, I think Bruce Wayne is gone. He took the clean slate, likes to clean a Kyle. Bruce Wayne, to the rest of the world, has just disappeared. I also think Alfred's going to make a return, but he's not going to be as much of a father figure to Robin Blake as he was to Bruce Wayne for obvious reasons. This also leaves which villains are left, with Joker and Arkham probably not being recast anytime soon, and Bane dead. This leaves a couple of options open. If they're going to follow Nolan's realism aspect, I think the Black Mask is actually probably a good choice. I mean, he's a drug dealer, drug lord, with an interesting persona. He has the capability to fit into this ruined Gotham, work his way into the system, work his way to the top, and while he's doing this, rally and recruit all the mercs that Bane left behind to become his personal army. This also gives Nightwing a reason to ascend to hero status. Suddenly, being Nightwing isn't about cleaning up Bane's mess. It's about restoring order to Gotham. I mean, Gotham just came out of this anarchy of Bane's rule, and now Black Mask steps in with an idea of tyrannical dictatorship? As we can see in the animated movie Under the Red Hood, Black Mask can and will secure as much power as possible. I think the final fight in the movie would take place in his personal penthouse, possibly acquired Wayne Enterprises penthouse, where Nightwing would fight his way to the top, enter the private penthouse, have a fist fight between Black Mask and his henchmen, which, could happen. Black Mask has a lot of money and a lot of enemies, and the fight would end with a free fall out of the penthouse into the streets below. Nightwing would catch a grapple line, stopping the fatal fall, before they hit the ground, leaving an incapacitated Black Mask lying out on the street for the GCPD and a very confused Gordon. However, if they want to take a spin on one of Batman's more absurd villains, I think the Killer Croc reference in The Dark Knight Rises is as good a place as any to start. Well, you've heard my 2-bit. I think I'm going to pass it off to Walking Tall 202.
I personally think that he will become Batman after he has done his part as Nightwing, because of one simple thing that Christopher Nolan showed us at the last few minutes of The Dark Knight Rises, which was a repaired bat signal and a statue of Batman. These two things have a purpose, and that is to signify that he has been publicly known as a hero. This is where they would have a Batman Beyond type of film, because Ra's al Ghul said in Batman Begins, the world is too small for someone like Bruce Wayne to disappear. Conspiracy theorists would have a field day with the coincidental death of Batman and Bruce Wayne. Because we as the audience know he is Bruce Wayne, this would be a clever way to manipulate that by saying he has the money and he has the tragedy to become Batman. And with these bold conclusions being made that Bruce Wayne is Batman, Bruce decides to return to the Batcave and teach John Blake to become the Batman he once was. You're probably wondering why Bruce Wayne would care if people knew he was Batman after his falsified death. That is because that if Batman and Bruce Wayne were dead, no one could stop the freaks of Gotham. Nobody. As for villains, I say keep going with Scarecrow, because he would actually work very well with this. People would be afraid that no one's able to save them. And with Batman dead, they would be in fear for their lives, not knowing that there is a hero out there for them. And yes, I know Nightwing is a hero. He is a great hero. He's a badass. But would you honestly take him seriously in a franchise like this? Yes, he's a very serious character, but at the same time, it is Batman. People don't necessarily, especially like the general audience, they don't associate Nightwing with Batman. The only reason that they even knew Robin was Robin is because they called him Robin. If you were to bring in Nightwing, they would say, hey, where the hell is Batman? Or even that Robin kid. Hell, they might even refer to Batman Forever saying, hey, that's not Batman, that's Batboy. Simple fact, Gotham needs Batman This would lead Robin Blake to become Batman and shock the entire city into showing that death cannot befall such a symbol.
So I bet you're probably wondering at this point, what would Robin look like? Well, my take on the Robin suit is, kind of a combination of like the old Robin, like the shit-stained Chris O'Donnell Robin with the bat nipples and the badass, mixed with, Christian Bale's Dark Knight armor, without the nipples and the ass, of course. I mixed in some of the colors, make it work, and there you go. Now, in my view, this suit can only be worn by one guy, and that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Want to thank Sci-Fi Webcam for doing this with us. We had a lot of fun.
And I want to thank our viewers. This has been a great experience, and there will be more videos to come with all three of us. This has been the Younger Viewers with
World War II Beast.
And I'm Walking Tall 202, and we'll see you soon.
Alright, well, thank you so much, Walking Tall 202 and WW2 Beast, for letting me be a part of this, and for letting me be on your channel. It's really great to be here. But now my question to you viewers is, which villain do you see in a Robin sequel? Just comment below, let us all know what you think. And until the time comes when we get together once again, this is Walking Tall 202, WW2 Beast, and me, Sci-Fi Webcam, at your service.